What up, you lab rats? This is episode number 87. Today we're talking about part 5 of the Primal Branding series. Pagans, non-believers. Stay tuned. Alright, hey, welcome back to the lab, your daily inspiration for creating better content. Today on Cozy Sunday, every day has a theme, right? Cozy Sunday. Take books, disseminate them so you guys can learn from the books that I read. And today we're on chapter something, but it's part 5, okay? And we're talking about the pagans, the non-believers, and what makes a successful brand successful. And we've already talked about this, and this, which you can check out in a playlist that I formulated if you're interested in really dissecting this book with me. Okay, so this is the shortest chapter ever. It's a page turn away, and it's about the pagans and non-believers. Well, who is that? Well, in order to have believers for your brand and what you stand for, you also need non-believers, okay? It goes back to the dichotomy of good versus evil, Democrats versus Republicans, pro-choice versus pro-life, on and on and on. Xbox versus PS4. PS4 wins every single time. So here you go. So we're going to keep this episode really, really short, and I just want you to understand that while it is really short, it's still very, very important. So it got me thinking about, okay, so who is getting the lab not for, okay? And I really started to think about it, and I wrote down a little list. I'm going to share with you guys, and this is just a little exercise for you to do maybe in your head or maybe on your phone to figure out who are your true fans and who are the haters. And it's okay to have haters, okay? It's okay to have haters. I think I had one comment who wasn't a hater, but they were criticizing the show and whatever. And I was like, that's cool, dude. Like, you know, there's a ton of shit out there for you to watch. Good shit. There's a ton of good shit out there for you to watch. And you don't have to watch my show. It's totally cool. I don't care. There's room for everybody. Okay. So I started to think of who is this not for? Who is getting the lab not for? And I wrote down fakers, arrogant people. However, they are for reformed arrogant people, because I believe I was super arrogant when I was growing up. Ingenuine people, techie people. I don't get very techie on here, even though I use a lot of tech, but we don't talk tech, you know. People who don't like long format or conversational posts. So you see the show's very loose, right? People who don't like cursing in content. So every now and again, I'll drop an F-bomb. And just like, you know, just drop F-bombs or whatever. I don't really care. I mean, I'm in the party and in the camp of if you can't take a curse word every now and again in context, not just because it's blatant and inflammatory, then I don't have time for that. And then if you just don't like me personally, like I don't have time for that either. Why would I want to surround myself with people who don't like me personally? Like, if you would personally want to hang out with me, then you're a welcome addition, and I'm lucky to have you to be a part of the Lab Rat community. But if not, if you don't see yourself hanging out with somebody like me, then I suggest you look somewhere else, right? And then people who don't like me personally, okay, and then closed-minded people who can't see beyond their own nose. That's really hard. It's really hard to convince other people. And sometimes those people are like the closest people to you, you know. And so sometimes I don't even expect like my closest friends to even listen to the show or support the show, because they can only see the reality that they have, right? They can't see beyond their own world. And so this show's not for them. Small time thinkers, people who don't know how to dream or have forgotten how to dream. And if you did forget how to dream and you were kind of like me, but you want to learn how to dream again, this show is for you. And you know what? This line that I'm continuing to draw for who this is for and who this is not for will continue to evolve, and your brand as well will also continue to evolve as you figure out who you really stand for, because you will be tested. I think as a content creator, as a business person, as as a wife, as a husband, whatever, you're going to be continually tested and challenged, and as to who you are, who's your identity, who's your character. And I think it's really important that you continue to be cognizant of that, even though it's not like the biggest thing on your list to do. Like, who is this not for today? It's still something that you are tested with on a little tiny subtle basis. Like, sometimes I'll get offers to do, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you create this? Why don't you monetize this? And it's like, well, that's not in line with who I am right now. And so there you go. I continue to draw the line at some points where I could have made money, or I could have sold out to just, shoot photos all day or whatever. So to me, this chapter also stands for not just, who this is for and who this is not for, and creating a filter for my show, but it's also, what's the word I'm looking for? It's also a feedback indicator as to my character and am I being true to myself, as a content creator, and just as a human being, am I okay with the decisions that I'm making, and the messages that I put my stamp and my brand on. All right. So real quick today, guys, just keeping it short on this episode. I believe that listeners, consumers of the Sunday content are in the smaller numbers, so I guess I'll make them smaller as well. So anyway, we're going to keep it real tight for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some use out of that, as to, creating a successful brand in whatever you're doing. I'd really appreciate feedback wherever you're at. And I'm really lucky to have you guys wherever you are listening or watching. And it's Cozy Sundays, so cozy up with a book or with your spouse or whatever. Take a nice breather. I really appreciate you. Tomorrow is Motivation Monday, so we'll have a nice motivational episode for you then. Until then, my name is Megan, reminding you to get in the lab. And we'll see you.